remember the day of my Lord Griffith's murder, when I saw his head lifted, dripping from his shoulders, and brandished before my unbelieving eyes. No, I will not think of that. Better to remember the quiet green and silver fens of East Anglia, the dawn light gilding my parents' home, the childhood of Edyth the Saxon, the little girl I once was, who lived in ignorance and dreamed of marrying a prince. East Anglia. I was little more than a child when my father was outlawed for treason. Until that time, my life was full of the sweet scent of marsh grass, my brother's constant quarrels, and the clamour of meals by torchlight in the great hall. My brothers and I played at hawking. We raced our ponies across that rolling sea of grass called the fens, and shouted insults at each other. I always won, for I was the best rider of all the children on my father's lands. No stidge rap was needed for my feat. I could mount just by grabbing the horse's mane and bolting onto his shaggy back. Surely Edwin and Morcarra must have hated me for besting them at boyish accomplishments, even as they resented me for being my father's obvious favourite. But then I could not imagine being hated. Life was good, and I was loved. East Anglia is a beautiful place, of far horizons and close-up pools. In summer it is carpeted with gillyflowers and green moss, forget-me-nots, and violet and butter and eggs. There is a memory in me still, sweet as the ache of love, of a heron, silhouetted against the dawn sky over the marsh. That was so very long ago. But sometimes it is only yesterday. My father was Elfgar, Earl of East Anglia, controlling the wealthiest and most populous portion of the land. Northfolk and Southfolk, that territory, still governed under the Danelaw, and able to summon vast numbers of men to follow their theme. As I grew out of babyhood and began to swell with the ripenings of a woman, Emma, my nurse, tried to impress on me the great importance of my station. "You will make a rich marriage, little Edyth," she often assured me. "The Earl's daughter will be a sweet plum for a prince, or even greater. You will be chatelaine of a powerful house." "More powerful than this one?" I asked in wonder. Emma's eyes crinkled when she laughed, and that always made me laugh too. "You can't begin to imagine," she said. "There are halls so vast that all of the Earl Elfgar's landhold could fit inside them." That had to be a lie. My father's property was the whole world, except for the western shires and the sea. I always suspected adults lied to children, but that made me certain of it. "I don't want to be what you said," I told her defiantly. "I want to stay right here, with my pony and my dogs, and my parents too, of course. If my father is so powerful, no one can make me leave him if I don't want to." There was a touch of sadness in Emma's smile then. "My child, the Earl himself will send you away, and congratulate himself on having done well." I had never heard of such betrayal. Furious with Emma, I dashed out of the small chamber I shared with her, and straight into my mother's arms. The Lady Alveva always smelled of the spices with which her clothes were stored, and no matter how hectic our household, her voice remained gentle and soft. "Edyth, childie, what's all this?" She raised my hot little face to study it with her sea-coloured eyes. "Emma says I must go, and my father himself will send me away." "Oh, now, I cannot believe she said such a thing." There was a storm brewing on my lady mother's brow that boded no good for Emma. "She did. She said I would have to learn to be a something, and live in a house bigger than our hall, and my father would be glad to get rid of me." The anger melted from my mother's face,